Well, hey.
Hello and good evening. Hi.
Hi. Oh,
Would you like to
Tessa,
explain this?
this isn't what it looks like.
Okay. You okay? Can I?
Well, okay. But there may be periods
We'll do while
where,
the clips are rolling.
Okay. You know, I haven't done this in 2 years, so I was a little nervous.
Yes.
And so I said, you might have to hold my hand through this.
That's
so,
fine. Let's introduce ourselves first. Let's do that.
Sure, hey.
Because I'm probably just as green in this as you are. So.
I've been gone for 2 years. I'm Kate Adams. And
I am Derek Fergie.
And hey, Derek, I think it was about 4 years ago I said, hey, we should host this together sometime.
That's right. It was.
Here it is.
And
4
here
years
we are.
later.
We're here at the same desk on the same night. It's great.
It's amazing.
Plugged In is very exciting tonight. We're all over the world, actually. We're going anywhere from the WKP Kennedy Gallery
to City Hall
to Sturgeon Falls
to Germany.
And believe it, Plugged In is in Europe for the first time in its history in North Bay for the first time.
I'm excited.
We're very excited, so we're going to get rolling. Why don't you hit us with the first story?
Kick it off. Well, the City of North Bay got its report card last night in the regular council meeting. The Communities in Bloom has several useful suggestions on how to make our city, our fair city, even better.
Mayor Burrows, members of council, and citizens of North Bay, thank you for the opportunity this evening to bring everyone up to date on the recent Communities in Bloom provincial judging in Stratford. Harriet Madigan, Jamie Houston, and myself had the privilege to attend this award ceremony on behalf of the City of North Bay and its citizens. And we would like to thank Mayor Burrows and the councillors and city staff for the support that we received since March 19th of this year. We now have a benchmark or a report card that will assist us in our focus for the year 2002. We have a great deal to be proud of here in North Bay, and we know that we are speaking to the converted. However, there are areas that need a great deal more of attention, and our plan is to involve all citizens, businesses, and industries as we move forward. And in a moment, Harriet will share a few highlights that were retrieved from our report card on the specific areas that we were judged on. With 81% was given to community involvement, and with the city behind this initiative, we are confident that we can improve our rating provincially. This is the 7th year for both the Ontario and the National Program for Communities in Bloom, a program dedicated to improving quality of life in municipalities across Canada. And this year, over 350 communities across Canada participated at the provincial and national levels. One of the presenters at the awards reinforced the importance of building community through beauty, and we strongly believe that in Stratford, in fact, have studies that have proven this. And on a walking tour of Stratford prior to the awards ceremony, it became evident that although Stratford is known for its theatre, tourists come in droves just to view the gardens. And a community portfolio is a wonderful snapshot of our many successes. And we, certainly invite all of you to sign this wonderful document at the Tourism and Leisure Office on the 2nd floor. You can ask for Betty Foy. Now, I'd like to focus a little bit on a press release that went out just today, and you people are one of the first to see just how we really did. We competed provincially with 23 other Ontario communities. And North Bay positioned itself with 3 blooms out of a possible 4 at the provincial level. And 8 categories were scored, with North Bay rating the highest with community involvement. And councillors and perhaps members of the community, I think there are copies back there. And I have a little grid which indicates, again, community involvement, 81%, our heritage, 75%, now this is all out of 100, floral arrangements, 73, environmental efforts, 72, landscape areas, 70.6, turf areas, 66.6, urban forestry, 64, and tidiness effort being our lowest at 63. As a point of interest, Brantford, which was our competition of a population of 86,000, have been involved since the program's inception in 1985 and have won world-class recognition. In 1995, receiving 5 out of 5 blooms internationally. This year, Brantford won 4 out of 4 blooms. So as a community of North Bay, I think we can be proud in our first entry in such a short time period that we had to work on it with 3 blooms is pretty exceptional.
The WKP Kennedy Gallery has a new exhibit this past week. Director-Curator Dennis Geeden has this report with Jill
Hi, it's Dennis Geeden at the WKP Kennedy Gallery at the Capitol Center downtown, and we have an exhibition this month of work by Jill Bischolte, and this work is related to flying. It's called Going Solo, and Jill has recently studied for and received her private pilot's license, and has done a lot of artwork then that is airborne, an airborne view, and also finds an awful lot of similarities and a closeness between flying terms and life in general. And we're very fortunate we have Jill here today to tell us a little bit more about the artwork. Jill, welcome.
Hi, Dennis.
And from talking to you, I understand that there are a couple of things that are new here for you and your work. One in particular is that you've begun to put writing actually right into the artwork, and a lot of it relates to flying and flying terms and the Flyer's Handbook, and et cetera, et cetera. And tell us a little bit about it.
Well, when you're learning to fly, and I think when you're involved in aviation, there's so much of it is about terminology and maneuvers, and also studying at ground school. There's topics. There's meteorology and navigation and air law, and it's very technical. And I found myself well, swamped, frankly, with words and the images that those words would create. And I had all of these terms that I wanted to work with. A lot of them were plastered on the walls of the studio. And eventually, some of them worked themselves into the work, which, as you say, is new. I haven't really worked with text in the work before, but it was really fun. There's a number of pieces that include these specific words, and they're often kind of what I call sort of watchwords. They're words that give you clues on how to rescue yourself out of certain situations in flying.
And one in particular, the one behind us, as a matter of fact, is called Lost, and what to do if, in fact, you're flying and you are lost. And it's a good lesson in life, I think.
I think it is, and I think there's a number of very good lessons with all of, a number of these maneuvers. Because with flying, what happens is when you're learning, you get yourself into a situation, and you've got, that's the whole thing. You've got to know what to do and how to stay calm. So this piece behind is called Lost, and then it's called Circle of Uncertainty. And then it has four words that all begin with C, and they run confess, climb, communicate, and comply. And I thought, I was memorizing those as what to do if you're lost when you're flying, but I was struck by that link with life. If you found yourself lost in life, and who doesn't from time to time, that the first thing you should do is to confess. Perhaps one of the hardest things to do is to admit things. So you confess, and climb is there's a great tool. Just get a little distance and another viewpoint, and once you take a look around, sometimes you have a clearer idea of where you are. And that's what it is in an airplane. Once you climb up, you go, oh, there's where that road goes there, and now you know where you are. It's a simple solution. And there's all kinds of things that interest me about flying, about what they call pilot decision making. And I think those kinds of things figure into these works also, making decisions and acting on them.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
And very briefly then, I know we have several sets of work that you have here. Mm-hmm. One in particular is dark and blues and grays, and it's based on the ground but looking up at the sky.
Right. There's all of the works, except for these four particular pieces, are done from an aerial vantage point. But the four pieces that are dark and gloomy, a bit gloomy, and definitely you're weathered in, those are about being on the ground and waiting for the weather to clear, anticipating that things will get brighter, watching. There's a lot of time spent watching. And again, you have to take everything I'm saying with a double entendre. It's not simply about watching and waiting for weather, but maybe waiting out things in your life, anticipating that tomorrow will be a sunny day, and those are the kinds of underlying messages that are in the work.
Great. Thanks, Jill. That's really helpful, I think, and I hope that that's enough of a temptation to get you down here to have a look at this very interesting show. So if you like art, or if you like to fly, or if you like the idea of both, come on down and see this exhibition. It's on until October the 31st, and the gallery hours are from Tuesday to Friday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and on Saturdays from 12 noon to 4 p.m. This is Dennis Geeden at the WKP Kennedy Gallery. Bye for now.
A website and a makeup artist.
Yes. I'm just talking about the updates for my show, the other show that I do on this channel. Anyway.
Derek is, you know, sort of filling me in on all that has been going on in the last little while.
It's been a while since we've talked. Yep.
You know, it's been a while since we've talked, but, you know, one of the things that I'd like to say is that, you know, you stayed in my good books.
How did I do that?
Because you emailed me.
I did.
And I emailed back a couple of times, you know, hey, what's up? Basically, that's like my standard, hey, what's up?
Hey.
So you have to write, and I don't.
Exactly.
But you did. You stayed in my good books because of all the people that I know here. Derek emailed me, and so did Sean, and that's something worth noting.
I'm a floodgate of communication.
Absolutely. You want to know what's going on? Derek in a tux? Beauty.
Hey.
Beauty. Hey.
North Bay Centennials games, that's where you find me.
Absolutely. But it was worth noting. And speaking of worth noting, another person that's been in my good books is Sean Stage. So we've come to the part of the show where I tell you that if you or your group has an event coming up, and you can come to Cogeco Community Television, and we could help you. Just write to us at 240 Fee Street, North Bay, Ontario, P1B 8S4. Geez, you know, I'm still stuck on Sault Ste. Marie postal codes. Or fax us at 472-7854. Now here is my very good friend Sean Lestage with Worth Noting.
There's a babysitter training session happening September 29th from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. It's a $40 registration fee, and it's a one-day session for new and experienced babysitters ages 10 and older. The Royal Canadian Legion Branch 23 at 150 First Avenue West are having a cribbage for bucks September 30th. Guaranteed $1,000 in prizes. Registration from 11:30 till 12:45. The 22-Wing Fitness Sports Recreation Center having a wacky Wednesday, October 3rd. For more info, call Chris or Tracy at 494-2011, extension 2610. The Chisholm United Church Turkey Supper happens Saturday, September 29th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Everyone is welcome. Workshop on self-care happens September 27th. It's open to the public at 489 McIntyre Street West. For more information, call Arif at 494-4774. I'm Sean Lestage for Plugged In. Now back to the desk.
I'm glad I'm your ball of yarn. That's good. Hello, welcome back. Now, just to clarify what you were talking about before, you were in Sault Ste. Marie for a while. That's where the break happened. That's where you were all this time.
That's where I was, yes.
That's where you were.
I was, you know, working for the AIDS Network there.
That's
and,
great.
Yeah, it was, yes, great. I had an exciting trip.
That's good.
In comparison to yours.
Mine was a little farther. It was over in Europe. I got to go to Germany. The fiance and I, we went over to Germany. She's got some family there. Got to see Switzerland as well, and also got to see France. And one stop in particular was very interesting. We stopped at a museum. Luckily, I had my camera with me. So for the first time in my knowledge, and apparently in Plugged In's history, we are coming from Europe. Here is the Medieval Torch Museum. Tessie Burton has this report.
Hi, we're here in Freiburg. This is a town in the Black Forest in Germany. And we're outside the Medieval Torture Museum. So we were going to go in and see just what kind of torture devices that they have. So let's go have a look. These are the witch scales. Women believed that people who were witches were lighter than normal people, so they would be put on the scale and weighed, and if they were lighter than the weights, then they were a witch. And with this device here, I don't know what it's called in English, but you were basically hung above the street or from the town walls, until you rotted and until you rotted and fell out by yourself. Here. This thing here is called the garret, and I just read here, it says for whimsical behavior. You got tortured, but I'm sure that is translated wrong. But you would sit down here, your head would go in here, and this would go around your neck, like that. And back here there's a crank, and they would crank this tighter and tighter, and it would go through your spinal column back here until the pain would get worse and worse and worse, and then you would probably get paralyzed from it because it would go right through your spine. Ready? Okay, the next thing we're going to see is called the fishwife's fiddle, and it didn't really hurt as much as ridicule, but the people, mostly women, who had to wear this thing were bickety old ladies who were, you know, who caused scandals or were cranky if you were too shrewish or bad-tempered. You got put into this, usually 2 women at a time, so probably once a month, you know, when that time, you probably had to get the fiddle out. This is, come over here. This is called the Judas candle, and you were conveniently placed into this around your hip, and then the executioner could rest you on there, going from anywhere from 0 body weight on here, it would hold you up, or full body weight, and this part go up your bum. I don't want to get into that, so it's kind of, and I'm putting my hand here where all the butts were. But it's clean. I have germ blaster. But yeah, this is nasty stuff here.
Go.
For medieval chiropractors, this was used for the full body massage, right here. This device is from the first amusement park in Europe, medieval Europe. It's the first tilt-a-whirl. You were strapped to the top, spun, and then they whacked your limbs with sticks on the way while you were spinning. So you got your arms, your shoulders, your legs, your head, everything got hit while they spun. These things here, they're mostly if men did something bad towards women, like really nasty things, they would get the red hot pincers and tongs. Either their tongue would get stretched out or their fingers, yeah. Tong and pincer and just, yeah. This is heretics. Ruin the concert. This here is it's called the gag, and it was used for people who were condemned to be burned to death, and it immobilized their tongue so that while they were burning they couldn't scream, and that way people who were enjoying the spectacle wouldn't hear the screams of the people dying, and they could still hear the music that was being played in the background. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little tour of the Medieval Torture Museum. You should be lucky and glad that none of these things are still in use today. For Cogeco, Channel 12 in North Bay, this is Tessie Burton signing off from Freiburg in the Black Forest in Germany.
Well, she is looking awesome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I haven't seen her for a while, so, you know.
I see her every day.
Were you. Yeah, torture chamber. Nice, nice. It's comparable to my stint in Sault Ste. Marie, really.
That's why you're back in town?
I'm home.
Yeah,
I'm home.
Not for everybody.
You know, it's not. It's not. There's no place like North Bay. Let me just put it that way.
I'll buy that for $1. Sure.
Sure.
Just to give you a little bit of I guess insight into that clip. Some of the devices that you saw were some of the lighter devices in that museum. I kept some of the really gruesome stuff out of it.
The tough stuff. One of those things you were saying, that this little stretcher thing, like you went in there to die and then you didn't.
You just kind of stood there until you fell out by yourself.
That is just wicked.
Well, we're a weird species. The human is a strange species.
Yes, we are. Yeah, that is scary. So that was a trip to Europe, and now we're back to North Bay, but actually we're not. We're going to like take a little trip to Sturgeon Falls because Vivian Bocash operates a small riding stable on the east part of Sturgeon Falls. We dropped in as a riding lesson was about to start.
We have Jackie here.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. And I'm Holly. My name is Holly, and I've been coming here to Ojibwe Stables for about a year now, and taking riding lessons.
Getting used to them, so what they were trying today was their hands, trying to work their hands and get a smooth flow with the horse in the trot. So how was your ride?
Very, very nice. I liked it actually.
And how did you do, Holly? I wasn't watching you the whole
He was
time.
okay, and I got it like the hand thing down pat, but the saddle is kind of...
It's rough.
Yeah.
Getting used to new seats. And how was your run? Puff, puff.
Well, it was okay.
Have you ever been horseback riding?
I have not.
It's a frightening experience, really.
I'm presuming you have been. Okay.
Let me scream. That's what I figured. It was let me scream.
Oh,
I was like,
does that startle the horses?
Can I scream because it's frightening? Yeah, it does. So
Well,
they even run even faster. So it was like not a fun experience.
Watch this segue. Speaking of horses, the artwork on the Heritage Carousel project is exceptional, and today Alan Cunningham is back to talk with the Heritage Railway organizer Barry Jacobs and two of the rounding board artists.
I guess 2 years ago when we started the Carousel project, we decided that we would adopt the horse program, and we adopted all the horses, the chariots, the rounding tub, the band organ, all of in approximately 4.5 months. And everything has been going very well. Granted, we are behind time now that the project is postponed until next year, but it gives the artists and everybody a chance to get everything done. We don't have to jump into everything in a rush. They're just absolutely beautiful, and if you can imagine a carousel with the art and the magnitude of the art that's on this carousel, with approximately 750 lights lit up, with the old band organ music. It's going to be something that right now nobody can fathom how beautiful it's going to be.
And with me right now is Sam Carfanini, who is one of the painters and, as a matter of fact, the painter of this rounding board that we're looking at the moment. Sam, how long did it take to paint what we're seeing here?
I think I spent a couple of weeks painting and maybe a week on drawing.
Why did you choose this particular scene?
Well, it's an historic engine that sits down at the CPR Railway, and I wanted to put it back in service.
It sure is the old 503.
Yeah, 503. Yeah.
How long has it been around North Bay?
Oh, a long time, since the 30s.
And it was on a regular run from North Bay?
Yeah, up north, Timmins, Cochrane, yeah, hauling freight.
Well, were you a railroad man yourself?
No, my dad worked for the railroad, but I grew up in the Y, so engines were around me all the time. Well, when I started to think about painting a railroad painting, I thought, well, where am I going to put the engine? I don't want to, I want to create a story, so I put the engine in what I figured would be a pretty typical Northern Ontario lake, and of course, when you get a Northern Ontario lake, you got fishermen. So I combined the two, and I kind of dreamed up a story about this old fella in the canoe. He used to drive that engine, and every time he went by that lake, he thought about taking his grandson fishing with him someday. So when he retired, that's exactly what he did. When he heard the train coming, he said, let's get over the shore and show Clint our fish.
And now I'm with another one of the painters, Janet Bourgeot. And Janet, we're standing in front of a rounding board that you contributed to.
Yes, and I was very pleased to do it.
Were you involved in any other painting besides the rounding board?
No, I wasn't, no. But I was delighted when I was asked to contribute to the rounding board, yeah.
Now, the scene that we're looking at is obviously winter, and it's sugaring off time.
Yes, and one of the reasons why I like to do this is I grew up in southern Quebec in the eastern townships, and I remember as a child lots of sugaring, and I know they had it up here, and it was very similar.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed our stay here at the work area of the Heritage Carousel down at the North Bay Mall. Things are progressing well, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing the carousel when it's on the waterfront a year from now.
Well, it's been really great working with you tonight. I am so glad that we've done this. Not a lot of hand-holding, but a little bit. Just like trip over every single word.
Equal guidance here, equal guidance.
Sure was. It was. And it's been a hectic couple of weeks, I would say.
It has been. Life is still trying to get back to normal. We've all been affected, of course, by the events that happened on September 11th.
We sure have.
I mean, yourself directly. And
absolutely. Had some people in the building. Had they not been late for work, missed the train, buying coffee, they wouldn't be with us. So
yeah, all the stories are coming forth, and myself personally, I've been pretty much emotionally exhausted since then. And last night, finally, the inspiration hit me, and I just sort of scratched this down that I'd like to share with you now. You'll have to forgive me if I'm stumbling over my words. I just literally scratch this out and try to keep up with my own thoughts. So here's my take on the tragedy that happened in New York. September 11th, 2001, a single day that changed the world forever. A day a small handful of organized people diabolically gave their lives to a viewpoint that brought a superpower of 300 million people to its knees and dropped the jaw of an entire planet. The mighty U.S. of A. is perceived in many ways, from a rich and powerful friend that helps the underprivileged, to a shining beacon of freedom and limitless opportunity, or perhaps a boisterous and obnoxious neighbor that is all shine and little substance. Maybe a global bully that has more brawn than it deserves, and maybe even to some, a sinister breeding ground and home of everything that is wrong with the world. Now, if you look hard enough, you can find these views anywhere in the world, but no matter what America truly is, it is very different now than it was on September 10th. I like to consider myself a bit of an optimist. I hope that I attempt to be successful in finding the bright side or silver lining in anything that life hands me, but I'll be the first to admit that on this issue, I had a hard time coming up with something. The dismal prose are teardrops into a sea of cons, but here is what I have come up with. Do you remember a time, September 10th, 2001, where in America you could see any kind of violence you had a hankering for? And if it's massive explosions you like, all you have to do is rent a movie with the word action on the side, and there's a good chance you could see 4 or 5 in one night alone. And then the next day, it all came true. There were no scaled-down models, no computer-generated effects. Those planes had real people in them. The Pentagon was actually attacked, and the Twin Towers actually did collapse. It could have been torn from the pages of the screenplay of next year's big blockbuster movie starring Tom Cruise, but it wasn't. Americans saw something that was, in a way, familiar to them, except this time, the violence actually hurt. Some experts are saying now that because of this violence, it will no longer be commercially profitable for a very, very long time. Personally, I like that. And as dim as it is, or may be, that is my personal silver lining. Health and humor. Take care out there.